From climate change to high-speed rail, a multinational devoted to the details to make technology sing. Can this familiar name bring unfamiliar prosperity to your investments?
I love coming out to Dreamforce because we get a chance to catch up with some of the more important stories in the world. Take Siemens, the German conglomerate that's a dominant player in electrical infrastructure, transportation, medical equipment, not to mention being #1 in industrial automation and industrial software. That includes using digital twin technology. Remember, we learned that when we were out with NVIDIA? As perfectly as possible. They're going all in industrial AI. This German company with a huge presence in the U.S. is in many different industries and has made major investments here, including a high-speed train facility in New York. They're going to use those trains on the rail system that's being built between L.A. and Vegas. Earlier today, we got a chance to speak with Barbara Humpton. She's the president and CEO of Siemens USA. Take a look. Barbara, I see Siemens everywhere, and it's always at the cutting edge of manufacturing. I guess I should have realized you're a 160-year-old startup that is doing fantastic things.
The company was founded 175 years ago, came to the U.S. 160 years ago. And yeah, Siemens is in the backbone of the economy, a focused technology company bringing the real and the digital world together.
Now, we spent a lot of time with Jensen Huang at NVIDIA, and he keeps talking about this concept that no one else I saw using, digital twin. But you have fully adopted. What does it mean for manufacturing?
Yeah, Siemens in 2007, right, the year the iPhone was launched, recognized this need for software and bought the fundamental capability to build a digital twin, right? Get a digital representation of any physical object. In the case of our digital twin, it's the most comprehensive, building in the laws of physics. You can ask thermodynamics questions, et cetera. This is what helps creators decide what do they want to build, how do they want to build it, and then once it's produced, how's it performing?
Okay, so people who are just listening will say, well, why don't you just build it right? What's the deal? In fact, when we build things, we keep changing things, and it gets more and more expensive. Digital twin eliminates the big expense?
Well, digital twin can help you play around with a whole lot of permutations. Before you start to bend metal, ask yourself, you know, how would this perform? How would that perform? Think about the Mars rover. Could not have landed without simulation because you simply couldn't create the conditions of Mars on the Earth. It's tools like that now are changing everything about how we work.
Okay, so let's talk about the divisions that we think are most germane to where we're looking at right now. Digital industries, of which you have interesting vertical end markets, and then smart infrastructure, which you say revenue growth is fueled by strong momentum in U.S. These are the two that I think are so far ahead of other companies. What do they mean to the day-to-day of Siemens?
Well, here in Siemens USA, smart infrastructure is the largest and the fastest growing business that we have. Think about what's happening with the electrification of everything.
Right.
Think about creating data centers. These are the people who make the electric switchgear that makes all of that possible. And then, of course, digital industries. We are at the beginning of the next industrial revolution here in the United States. And it'll be Siemens tools, both automation and the software, the hardware and the software that are going to make it possible for manufacturers in the U.S. to actually be more productive, be more sustainable, and compete well on the global stage.
Too many people talk about, well, what jobs will be lost? I think if you look at the future, and I know that's what you do, you'll see that we don't nearly have enough people to do any of these jobs. If we don't go with Siemens and your digital industries and your smart infrastructure, we may not have the people to fill these factories.
Well, that's exactly right. Right now, there's already a deficit in the workforce in the United States. And here we are making massive investments. You know, Siemens alone in the last year invested $500 million to expand our operations. We need to build more of that electrical switchgear. We need to build more trains. And so all of that is growing.
Let's talk about the trains. I've been to Horseheads, New York. I know it's not in the sticks, by the way. It's next to Corning, so they have an incredibly good workforce. You're building something major there.
We just announced last week, I had the pleasure of being there with Leader Schumer to announce that Horseheads will be the site of our new high-speed rail factory. People ask, why New York when the first project is Brightline West from LA to Las Vegas? Well, I've seen the map. There's something like 30 city pairs ready to go. And what we found in New York is a 300,000 square foot concrete slab that can hold a train, ready to go, and a workforce that is absolutely geared up and ready for us.
I'm so glad you say that, because people just assume that unless it's in a big city or out west, you don't have enough people or the right people. That's just untrue. Yeah, get a little more positive about our country. Now, talk to me about Siemens and Salesforce teaming up, because I need to know about the Team Center Service Lifecycle Management.
Yeah, think about this. We are experts in industrial applications,
Right.
in automation. We get gear that gets sent out all over the place, and it needs to be serviced over time.
Right.
Salesforce is an expert in customer relationship management and the workflows that actually address customer needs. You put these two together, we've applied their Einstein capability to the data sets that are being produced out of our industrial equipment. Now we can actually tailor the customer's experience with AI.
Okay, so does that mean when I look at this next generation that he's talking about, and it's everywhere, Agent Force, are you going to be involved in Agent Force?
We are. Yeah, we're big believers that agents are going to be a critical part of our future, right? We've got large language models. We've got all kinds of work that's being done to train models. The question is, how do you draw inferences from them? How do you use that for making real decisions in real time? You'll find AI already in use across our own enterprise, and we've created the industrial co-pilot so people can use these kinds of tools to program the automation on a factory floor, for instance.
Okay, now just a naive question, but why did I have to come out here to learn about how pervasive Siemens is in our country?
Well, invite me back anytime. I can't wait
I'll invite you
to
back
talk
in
some more about
a
this.
second, because of your experience. You've had far more experience. You even brought some real security to the Justice Department. You've done a lot of great stuff, and we like having you on. We think you tell a pretty darn good story. This is Barbara Humpton, Siemens USA President and CEO, 160-year-old startup doing some great things. Thank you.
Thanks for that opportunity.
Coming up, how's the HVAC business? It runs hot and cold. Could this clean tech play keep your portfolio on track? Stick with Cramer.